Let's see if we can do it. Second try, re-rolling this experiment with these curls. If I did it wet, but I didn't because I was already in bed, it would curl. So something new. I was looked at the news today. It had a very disturbing video that I watched where this policeman has this 8-year-old child handcuffed up in his upper forearm, and he was very condescending to the child. He was like, "Oh, if you would just listen to me, if you just behave," sound like a pedophile. Get on your knees, little boy, just listen to me. But you know what I'm saying? It's an 8-year-old child, and it had learning, and I had taught primary school to the year. Um, and I had wanted to be an art teacher and then counseled that program. And it was in such a small little town in Mississippi. I relocated. Today I went back to Kansas for a minute. But anyway, but the child behavior is that of a child that has some maybe birth defects or learning, not because the child to me wasn't doing anything but crying and being very upset. I don't know what if I've been hit by kids or whatever. A lot of times, that's just learned behavior from their parents being frustrated, or it's that type of mental disability. Which I worked in the library the last part of it, and so I had all like 360 kids from um 600 and something kids come through there a day. um, um, and this primary, like, you had little classes of 300. So we had kids, that all type of behavior. I don't believe in capital punishment because with children with ADHD, if you hit them, that's all they know. They strike out, and you can either acerbate it by, like, well, that policeman that was very horrible what he did. And you could tell that he's, like, so proud of himself by his condescending way to the child that he thinks, like, oh, look, I'm so smart. But, you know, I don't know what happened back in the day where, like, they would sort of give you maybe some type of treat as they gave you a talking to, because that would be your only opportunity if you really want to teach that child the behavior. But all he did taught that child was that it's a very cruel world. But anyway, the policeman behavior was that very condescending. I see them, like, when they get real frustrated, they'll talk like that to you, like to me, a grown up. They had talked that way to me, and I know that it does it just incites you a little bit, you know. Um, and I could only imagine an 8-year-old would already having difficulties, because a lot of the children, I don't want to say ADHD, I don't know exactly Asperger, I don't know exactly, what, I don't recall exactly what they said he had, but they're not as sociable. They don't make a lot. Some of these kids don't make eye contact. Doesn't mean they're not listening. If you cause them pain and discomfort, they will cry and holler out, even if they don't have any type of mental defect or learning disability, or what I'm saying. It does come off like, I find you could control a river a lot easier by really, like, really trying to draw out from the child what's wrong, you know. But and I see that I don't know where or what type of human that his behavior would be acceptable for, unless you just want somebody not to respect you, um, and probably the harm that he did to that child. It's it's if you're doing more harm and causing more damage, then the worst thing I seen was that policeman from St. Louis Ferguson. I guess he did an interview, and if I recall right, those supremacist groups that are anti, they think they're white power, and and all this stuff, and have to get gun. Yeah, don't y'all hide out in Wisconsin or some in Minnesota? So don't think nobody knows where you're. Nobody wants to be bothered with somebody that wallows in their own shit. You're walloping in the fact that like all in that area is poor. Yeah, we have a problem with our inner schools, with our money that's supposed to be for the children getting redirected to police getting those military tanks that they come through the neighborhoods. Um, to the tear gas, and that's one reason their pay doesn't increase either, because any extra money is geared to either hire more policemen or militarize them more, and if you think that child and it was your gun that child that you were in that much danger, then yeah, you need to stay with people like mine, because one of your like mind people is probably going to go off on you because you're like mine and think the same. And as long as you think that nobody else knows that you deep in your heart is a murderer, regardless, if you're scared to be in the inner city, if you think there's a problem with everything and you think the way to solve the problem is to kill these people, harass them, and throw them in jail, then you're going along with the propaganda that they're that some outside forces that are trying to destroy the United States are doing. With the rest, we're at war with a lot of places in the Middle East where we have soldiers over there. There's actually, hostilities um, directed towards the United States, and if they could use the weakest-minded person to think that that this person has the right to kill, maim, or cause bodily harm to somebody, that they're justified for whatever reason, because this person is poor, because this person is homeless. Like here in Memphis, they're going to solve the homeless problem by making them criminals. You get a $500 fine. First, I'm saying people are not homeless because they choose to be, homeless. A lot of it, if you can't understand that everybody wants to have a bed to lay in and a roof over their head to keep the weather out, and have certain comforts, and you know, um, then that's why we can't solve the problem. Because the problem is most of the homeless was created because of them coming out of the like county jails, losing their job, trying to fight a court case, like let's say you were say another car, you get hit by a car or something, you get injured, you got outrageous medical bills. We got the highest medical bills in the world. So you're out of work. So now you're on the street limping with a cane, sleeping there because anything can happen. Yeah, maybe because like you're probably thinking, oh well, people got car insurance. Not everybody driving around got car insurance. So a lot of these things, people are homeless. I mean, I didn't hear them say that in the 20s when they had all the white people come over from Europe and they got the soup line. What did they do? They rehabilitated them. What does this Darren Wilson think? He thinks he's justified for being a murderer. Well, you need to take it up with your Jesus and look at the Ten Commandments and find out that maybe even if you wasn't scared, maybe in God's eyes there's no justification. Maybe in your little friends up in Wisconsin or Minnesota, one of those places up there. Everybody knows where you are. All the black people know where you are. All the black people choose not to be around racist, hateful motherfuckers. So maybe you shouldn't have took a fucking job where you're going to be around the people that you think is the problem. Because I know more criminals come out of the bank system in 2008 with the home loans. So maybe you need to redirect and follow the money. Maybe you need to get a little fucking smarter. Maybe if you think there's a fucking problem with the inner city, maybe you need to follow the money. Maybe you see the money is getting misdirected to the schools. And so maybe those kids are not getting the education, they're not, and the jobs are overseas in Indonesia, or in the Asian countries. Just like Detroit, what happened to Detroit? It was all black people working up there making the best cars, and we haven't had a fine manufacturer of a car since then in the United States. They're all getting recalled. And as long as they got people like Darren Wilson that think he's justified for his hate, and yeah, you can surround yourself around your little hate group or whatever, but don't say nothing when somebody looks like you, white like you, okay, do you in. Because you ain't right either in their mind. You crazy ass murdering bitch. That's to Mr. Darren Wilson. Ain't nobody give a fuck where you are. Because you ain't coming back to, come on back to Ferguson, Missouri. They'll welcome you back. Come on back. Don't be, we know you ain't scared. Oh, that's right, you are scared. Boo!